Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hyperconscious Podcast. Alan, what is hyperconscious?
Once you understand why something is the way that it is, now you have the power to change it. Great conversations with great people and great questions are the keys to the kingdom of unlocking your consciousness.
Every single action that you do starts as a thought. When you control the way you think, you will control the way you act, and you will control the way you live. That is hyperconscious. Geographically? Geographically. This is cool. So I would say make sure that pretty face is showing.
Yes, true.
They're going to want to see that thing. They're going to want to see that thing, Alan. That face. You good? Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. We sat down with this young man for episode number 41, back with Bella, but we are down in New Jersey today visiting Mr. Eric Legrand. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well since the last time you guys saw me in June. It's been a pretty cool experience I've been able to have over some time, but I'm doing very well.
We were talking about some of these cool experiences that you've been able to enjoy. So before we get into those, we were actually just talking about the fact that all three of us are kind of unhappy with where we are, and we think we're screwing up and we should be doing more. So we were saying that it's New Year's, so a lot of people go through this, but it really is about who can stick to it the longest, right? So what are you dealing with in your life right now that you're really focused on getting better at, growing at, all that happy stuff?
I love that you said that too, is who can stick it out the longest, and it's kind of made me think of like as a challenge now.
Yeah.
Like, who can stick it out the longest, and I think that's going to help me now, propel me these next, few weeks. But with my speaking, I'm tired of having dead periods in my speaking when over holiday seasons and in the summertime. I want to get to a level with my speaking where I'm speaking, 4 or 5 times a week, and I'd have to have dead periods and things of that nature because the bills don't stop. Bills don't ever stop. So you got to be able to continue to pay the bills, but also it's about getting a message out there too. I feel like I have a great message to get across, but there's different ways I really want to start telling it. Ever since I've been working with Eric Thomas and things, working with his team, I feel like I've gotten better ways of speaking and different ways I want to share my story now instead of the old same way that I used to do it. So I'm excited for that. And my New Year's resolution this year is to become fluent in Spanish.
Interesting.
Yes, I tried it last year. I did Rosetta Stone, and it was okay, except for on Rosetta Stone, when you get things wrong, they don't tell you what you got wrong. So I finally was getting up to, I learned all the different phrases and stuff, but then I was getting the full sentences, and I was messing up. But it didn't tell me where I was messing up, so I'm like, well, how do I know what to fix?
Yeah.
So now I started doing this Duolingo. And Duolingo, it tells me every time where I mess up, so I've been liking it so far. I do it every day, try to at least put in at least a half hour a day on it, and it's been good with me.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We were driving down and it's like you outwork us. You outwork so many people.
Right.
And it's like, it's just unbelievably inspirational because every time we've had so many guests on the podcast and we always go back to talking about you.
And Bella,
and Bella, and how that day when we were sitting down with you guys, it's like this moment of these two have every excuse. And it's like, that doesn't matter to you. You still put in all the work, more than most people. You still have unbelievably high standards for yourself. So you inspire me. I want you to know that.
Thank you. Like you said, having high standards because I feel like I can be doing more.
Yeah.
I sit around and sometimes I think about stuff. I'm like, why am I just saying I need to be doing this? I need to be doing that. But how do I get to this level in order so I can be really busy where I'm going to be one of those people that you come walking in. All right, we got to do this today. And, you get you got somebody planning out your whole schedule because you're so busy. That's where the level I want to get on, when I'm sitting up in my room in the middle of the week, like say Wednesday at 2:00 in the afternoon, and I'm sitting here like, all right, I should be doing something. Like why am I just sitting here falling asleep on my phone? No, I should be doing something, whether if it's planning my event for my foundation or finding other ways, to bring revenue to my business when it comes to motivational speaking or working with our show Mission Possible. I feel like I should be doing something. I feel like people at work, whether if they work their 9-to-5 jobs, they're doing something. And when I'm just sitting around, I feel like I'm being outworked, and that's why I just don't want that feeling anymore.
That work ethic before your injury has totally translated to after. I read an Instagram post of yours recently, and it was a picture that you posted of you after that play. You were on the ground on the field, and I said this to Kevin on the ride here. I said I really wanted to ask Eric something. In the post, you said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but you basically said that this ended up being such a huge blessing eventually. Can you go into a little bit of how what you thought was the worst day of your life has kind of become a blessing over time? And what can you bring to our listeners when it comes to maybe you're going through something that you think is horrible right now, but there's something good that's going to come of it. You just have to stay resilient through that.
Yeah, it was honestly, of course, when the injury happened, it was the scariest time of my life. I didn't know where I was going, what I was going to be able to do next. My football career was over, which is all I pretty much knew, for the first 20 years of my life was just playing football, sports, going to school, and that was it. Now you get injured, and where's your life going to go? And thank God I had a great support team around me that was there for me and whatever I needed. But then that year, 2012, came where I was telling you before, I came out with a book. I won the Jimmy V. ESPYs Award for Perseverance. I won the Spike TV Award, Guysman of the Year. Like that year, 2012, was when I feel like my story really took off nationally, where people started to recognize who I was. And that's when I realized also, I wrote this book, but I have a story to tell. And that's kind of where I started my speaking. And, I've been speaking for 5-6 years now, going on 7 and trying to, build my brand up. And we were just saying how Eric Thomas, I listened to him, and he's like, you think this came easy? Been at this for 30 years. We were just talking about this, Kev. He's been at this for 30 years to see where he's at. And I get, down on myself sometimes to see how come I'm not on that level yet. And it should be, kind of disrespectful to him because he put that work in for 30 years. I'm sitting here at year 6, and I'm like, why am I not on Eric Thomas's level yet?
Right.
Meanwhile, he's like, I've been grinding for 30 years to get to where I am. And me, I'm like, yeah, I'm here for 6.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's I like I said, I feel like it's been a blessing because it's opened up just so many different pathways with my attitude, just to meet great people and hear their stories and just be inspired by them.
You were lucky enough to meet Eric, right?
Yeah, I got to meet Eric. It was about December 2nd, I remember, because I just came back from London December 1st, and the next day I had to go to Brooklyn to meet Eric Thomas for the Ignite the Dream tour with Inky Johnson, and it was incredible being able to hear him talk in person and see how he works the floor and works the crowd. It was incredible, and it, inspired me. And then just the message that he got across, and one of the biggest things that he said, he goes, you could be the nicest person in the world. You could be doing the right things in the community. You can have a foundation. And you can be just an all-around great person that everyone loves you. But if you don't have something that you can give back to other people at all times, whether if it's going to affect their mind or if their business or something, then no one will ever look at you seriously in a position where, wow, that person can make a change in my life. And I took that to, I'm like, yeah, because that's kind of me. Everyone, they know my story. I do this and that. Oh, yeah, he's a good person, this and that. But can I affect somebody where they're going to want me around them at all times? They're going to want me in their presence by hearing me, or because I can affect their number line in their business, things of that nature. And I'm like, I need to get on that level where people want or need me around to help them.
Just for the listeners, when we sat down with you last time, that was just a dream.
Yeah.
That was just an intention. It was just a
Just a
dream
thought.
of yours
Yeah.
to meet Eric Thomas. And well, what would we say? May? April? May?
June.
July, August, September, October, November, December. So that was 7 months ago.
Yeah.
In 7 months, you went from that to meeting him. And I want the listeners to understand, that happens when you put in the work.
And
You've been
it's
putting in the
possible.
work.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
It really is. And like you said, put in the work. I started taking his classes and trying to be a part of everything that, just studying him pretty much and becoming a part of what he does. And like you said, put in that work, and it eventually led me to actually meeting him, talking to him, and now having him as a personal contact where I can call him on the phone at any time, which is, like you said, crazy. But as you said,
That's awesome.
you got to put in the work
Yeah.
to get to that level. And I definitely think I put in the work, but like I said, I'm never satisfied. There's still more to go.
What's it like for you now, looking back, even 7 months ago when we sat down with you? So much has changed for all of us, but you've met Kevin Hart, Bryan Cranston, and Gary Vee, and Matthew McConaughey, and all these people. You've traveled all over the place. I'm sure you've done a lot of fear chasing. Like, when you look back to 7 months ago compared to where you are now, what do you feel?
That's a great question. Looking back as we speak from when last time I was with you guys to now. Honestly, it's been a grind, but I feel like my mind right now, especially with the new year, new resolutions and everything, I feel like I'm more determined. 7 months ago, it was all a dream, and I knew it was all a dream. Hey, Biggie Smalls, but it was like I put in the work and things like that. But right now, I feel like I'm in that beast mode. Like I was in the mode to grind, work hard, but now I'm in that beast mode to take over and be looked at something like leave a legacy of, wow, that person, he's a beast. And that's not just, wow, that kid worked hard and this and that, grinding. No, that kid's a beast. Like that's how I feel like I'm in that type of mode right now. And Eric Thomas always talks about that. He goes, you can't just be in beast mode at when it's convenient for you. No, you gotta be in beast modes at all times. And it's when people want to be a beast, but then when it's time to do beast things, people shy away from it. So I kind of feel like when I hear that, I'm like, well, I ain't shying away from nothing. I'm ready to do that type of stuff. So these past 7 months, I think that's when my attitude has changed the most, to just grinding and working hard, to now trying to actually have a plan, execute, and go at it 110%.
Hell yeah.
Not just 75%.
So do you feel like you've gained more clarity on the impact that you want to have since last we sat down? It seems like you have.
Definitely, yeah, definitely more clarity on the impact. Like I want, like I said, people to look at me and, like I said, need me. Like I need him to come talk to us on my group or my business because of what he can do for us.
Yeah.
With his words or his methods or his teachings. That's why I feel like that's the impact I want to have now. Before, it was nice, to inspire people and you want to help them get through adversity. But now, like I said, I want to be needed.
Yeah.
Like I need him to come and talk. Like it's not just, oh, maybe we can get Eric in here. No, it's like we need to get Eric in here to come speak to us. That's how.
That's an interesting shift in mindset.
It
So
is.
that's a shift in mindset that now we will see manifest into reality in the coming years.
That's what I hope. I hope that's the goal. I want people to see that. Like I said, they need me to come do this. I need you to come speak to these people. Not, oh yeah, it'll be nice if you come speak to us and this and no. That's my kind of mindset where I'm at, and I'm hoping to get there. I don't have I'm not gonna lie, I don't have the whole framework laid out on exactly how to get there right now. But I'm doing my research. I'm doing what I need to do to learn there to find my own pathway. Like we were just talking off the mics before. Tony Robbins has his pathway. Eric Thomas has his pathway. Inky Johnson has his pathway. It's time for me to build my Eric Legrand pathway. Lewis Howes has his pathway. Try to, you can study all of them and come up with your own pathway.
Yeah. So it's very clear that you've learned a lot since last we hung out. And that's the thing. It's like you just mentioned when you were in the presence of Eric Thomas, something that he said struck a chord with you. And that chord made that mental shift that we're talking about now. And now we're going to watch you go into extra beast mode compared to what you've ever done because you were courageous enough to really get into that room. So you've been in rooms with, we were talking before, Matthew McConaughey, you just mentioned that, Kevin Hart, all them. Like, what have you learned about people that are in that beast mode that you mentioned versus like other, like maybe people who aren't?
They're not afraid to execute. They're not, they come up with plans and they actually go and do it. That's the biggest thing too. People always can have a plan, but if they don't put the needs to go and actually execute that plan, then what is it worth? You know, the people that we see, the people that we look up to, and things of that nature, they weren't scared to execute those plans, no matter how long it may have took. Whether if it took somebody one post to blow up and become famous, or if it took somebody 30 years to become famous, they kept the dream and they executed it. And that's the thing, you got to execute on whatever it is. If you have that idea, and you can have the framework around it to build on, go ahead. Don't be scared, you know. Don't because somebody say, I don't know about that, I can't do it. Or your parents may say, that's not a good idea for you. You should go and do this, or you should go and do that. God, that's the biggest thing I learned from Gary Vee when it comes to, you know, with parents and things, or someone tells you, oh, you're this age, you should be doing this, or you should be doing that, blah, blah, blah. Like they got it all figured out.
Yeah, right.
No, everyone is different. Everyone has their own pathway. And it may take somebody longer to figure out what they want to do. But once they do it and it's something that they love, then go execute it and actually go do it. You know, not everyone's, you know, the wants you to live that American dream. You come up, you go to school, you try to find a way to get a job and hopefully get that white picket fence, you know.
Yeah.
And then, no, but it doesn't work like that. There's speed bumps along the road for every different person. Everyone has to face some type of adversity, some tougher than others. And once you, like I said, figure out what you actually want to do or what you love doing, find the framework and stick around that and go execute.
Alan and I on the way down were talking like when you figure out, so I want to be the person that I needed when I was so low, I didn't feel like anybody could understand me. I want to be that for other people. And when you figure out what you want, everything else kind of orbits around it. Like your dream becomes the sun and everything kind of floats around it. And I think a lot of people they have like a party Saturday floating around, and they have like, oh, this bill has to get paid. They have all this stuff floating around that almost doesn't matter to them in the long run. And we're so focused on, we were talking about this on the ride down, like we're so focused on 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, that we're willing to crawl through the mud now. You're willing to look at yourself and be like, I'm screwing up. I should be working harder. It's 2:00 in the afternoon. What am I doing? And I feel like a lot of people aren't there. And I don't know if it's because they don't have something that pulls them. Like when you feel that little bit of lack of motivation, when you're like, man, I don't feel like doing that today. Like, how do you get out of that funk?
When it comes to this, honestly, when you get that lack of funk, that's when I get hard on myself and I tell myself, like, what are you doing? Like, you have the opportunity to do this. You're doing what you love. You're impacting people. You know, it's hard. I really don't get that funk too much unless, like I said, I'm falling asleep on my phone at 2:00 in the afternoon. And then, as I said, people are out there getting better than you. People are out there executing right now, and you're not. That's what kind of drives me out of it. Knowing that someone is getting better at something than I am, that's just how I was as an athlete.
Yeah.
That's why when I was in high school, I only missed one weight room session my whole 4 years, and that was because I had to go to a math tutor. Knowing that somebody else is getting better than me at something or pushing, working hard for their dream, and I'm not, that'll get me out of funk 10 times out of 10, 20 out of 10. You know, it just gets me. That drives me all the time, knowing that somebody else is out there executing their dream or living out their dream. And what are you doing? Sitting here making excuses, feeling bad for yourself? Nah. And that's you got to surround yourself around it. I truly believe it because everyone has said it. Surround yourself around people that believe that they have the same goals as you, same aspirations, or same work ethic as you, because you lean on them because they push you as well. People that you know, they see the plan that you have and they want to help you get to that kind of level. And I've had friends now that I've talked to, you know, on a daily basis that see what I'm trying to do and trying to get there, and they help me. They come up with social media posts for me and do, hey, Eden, do you need me to look up something for this? Like look up a restaurant for me so I can call. If it was for my family, I'll give you an example. I have a basketball tournament coming up. I'm trying to get some raffle items, and it's in Union County, and I'm not too familiar with Union County, so I call my friend up. I'm like, can you? I know you know Union County. Can you get some restaurants for me to call up? Next thing you know, I got a list of 10 restaurants, you know. And I can now call them up and things of that nature. So surround yourself with a team around you that wants to help you execute and build that dream and live that dream. That's what it's about.
It's like when people see you doing your thing, like your mission, they want. Last night, we had a podcast with Evan Carmichael. He's got 1.7 million subscribers on YouTube, 250 million views on YouTube. He has like the top 10 rules of success for, you know, Gary Vee, Tony Robbins. Like he has a super successful Instagram page as well. And we were supposed to get 25 minutes with him. We did like an hour and 10 because he was just happy with how the interview was going. And he was like, oh, you guys did such a good job at doing your research. And it's like, because he sees what we're doing and how all in we are, he was willing to go above and beyond. So it's like when people are going to see how hard you're working and they're going to see like what kind of dude you are, they're going to be far more willing to, help you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why being a good person at the end of the day matters almost more than anything.
Yeah, it's super important. One thing that keeps jumping off the page lately for us, so Evan Carmichael, the reason why that interview happened is I had two different people. Eddie Pinero, he has another successful YouTube channel. He came on this podcast, and he said that Evan was such a great guy, Evan Carmichael. And then I have one of my coaches who also said, oh, Evan, I know him. He's such a great guy. So I was like, okay, like I gotta meet this guy. We gotta get him on the podcast. He's a great guy. So your reputation kind of precedes you, and it's like that's why that happened. And then he went above and beyond for us. He ended up coaching us live on the thing on like he ended up asking Kevin like, what do you guys need from me? What can I help you with? And normally he charges a lot for his coaching, so that was huge. And it's like in the preamble, you and I, all of us, were talking about all the incredible people that you've met lately. And one of the first things that you said about one of my heroes, Matthew McConaughey, is that he's such a great guy. And we say that about you. So it's like, for the listeners out there, your reputation is going to follow you. Absolutely. And people are going to want to reach out and help you if they consider you to be a good person. So it's like being kind just kind of always wins, because we heard about you through Bella, and Bella said you were a great guy. And it's like, I just think the why power to be a good person is so strong these days, because it's going to help you achieve your dreams and create that team that you just mentioned.
But also, like you mentioned, being a good person, you also work.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You guys did the research, know exactly what you want to go into that interview, and he hears that. He's like, wow, these guys put in that work. Let me sit here. Instead of 25 minutes, I'm going to give them an hour because of all this hard work that they put into this. And it becomes, honestly, with me, too, when people come here and they do stuff like we're doing right now, this podcast, and you hear, like, how they know your story, you're just like, wow, let's keep on going. Like, it's fun, It's nice to hear, and it's a breath of fresh air. So that's really cool to see, too. And I forgot to mention earlier, I started my own YouTube channel, too.
Let's go!
This past summer, I started it in August or September around
8 episodes deep?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did our research.
Yeah.
We did our research.
I'm trying to build my brand on there, but another thing from Gary, I learned from Gary V, is he goes, never worry about the subscribers that you have on there, but always put out good content. No matter if you could have 2 subscribers, if you're putting out good content, believe me, it will eventually take off, and that's what what I want to do. I'm just going to keep on putting out this content that I have behind the scenes of my life. Going to do some therapy episodes coming up, and people love when I'm always posting about therapy. So I'm really, really excited where this YouTube channel can go.
So I have a new question that I haven't asked anybody yet, and I want to ask you first.
Okay.
What is a day in the life of Eric Legrand like?
I guess it depends on the day. If it's a Tuesday or Thursday, it's get up with my nurses, which I sleep until about 9, which I do like. Some people
be like, gangster.
Yeah, some people be like, you got to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning grinding away at it. And I'm just like, I went to bed at 1:32. I'm up at 9. And then I'll get ready with my nurses and then head out, eat lunch, head out to therapy for afternoon, and get home around 4 o'clock, and then they'll be catching up on emails and messages from the day and trying to figure out where I'm going next. But then there's days where I don't have anything, and that's one of the days I'm up in my room trying to figure out my game plans. Like I would say this Monday, I don't think I have anything on my schedule, which means I will be on my phone sitting here trying to figure out how can I take this next step. So I do have something on Monday, so I'll be looking at different, social medias, different views, different podcasts, different things, just so I can, like I said, plan out my route. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now in my life, where I can plan this out, and I need to find my Eric Legrand pathway.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you this. So we had Anthony Trucks on the podcast. I don't know if you know him. He was in the NFL, actually. He was, I think, a linebacker?
Yes.
So he was on the Buccaneers and I believe the Steelers.
Yeah, we never know.
Yeah.
He was on 3 or 4 teams, for
3
sure.
or 4 teams. Yeah. And we saw him live at Brendan Burchard's event. You seem like you've transitioned to a time in your life, and this is just from the outside perspective, like where you're really focused on work ethic. I really like that. Like execution, execution, execution. And last time we were talking to you, it seemed like a lot of it was focused on mindset. But like as an athlete, you never wanted to be outworked. That is clearly just ingrained in you. I absolutely love that. But the reason I bring up Anthony Trucks is because he was kind enough to call me and coach me on speaking because he's a successful speaker. And he's far ahead of me in that particular journey. And one of the things that he said to me really resonated with what you said earlier, which is, honestly, Alan, at the end of the day, how much can you produce? Like, you say you want to be needed by companies. Like, companies need Eric in here because he's going to change our business forever. Like, that's what Anthony Trucks said to me. He said, Alan, honestly, like, it's great to be a good person. It's great to be nice. But, like, when you produce, like, when you show up, just like in the NFL, like, if you're the best at that position, like, you're going to get the part. So it's like you can't just be nice, you can't just be kind. You have to execute. You got to be an absolute beast. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I think that's where it's at, and that's where I kind of now have, like you said, adjusted my mindset to, it's just not going to happen because of being, just a nice person and smiling. No, I got to figure out a way that people need me, and I'm on that journey because I don't have that answer right now to. This is why they need me to come in there right now, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of excited to find that jersey. I'm not mad that I don't know the answer right now, but I'm very happy that I do have that mindset to I know what I need to do. Well, let me go figure it out and see how I can get there. And once you transition, I think, to that mindset, because I'm right at the beginning stages of it, it's been great. It's been great these past few weeks since the new year started, and now coming up with different ideas and plans and just not settling. I think that's the biggest thing, because in the beginning, like 7 months ago, I could say, if I thought of one idea, I'm like, okay, nice. Great job. You did it for the day, all right.
Yeah.
Now it's like, nah. All right, you come up with the idea. Now you got to go figure out the plan on how to make it actually happen.
Yeah.
And so that's listening to these, people these past few months has really shifted my mind.
One of the things I can say for sure, and this helped me personally, and I know that it helps so many people that follow you and know your story. It's when they see you out living life on your own terms and chasing your dreams, it kind of eliminates the excuses they have for themselves. Because it's like, if he's living a full life, in his position, then I have no excuse not to live my full life. So that's kind of like, the more you execute and the more you make your dreams come true, the more other people are empowered to really chase theirs, and they're gonna. All the excuses kind of get eliminated, where it's like, Kevin and I still reference, like, you do social media with your phone, with your thing in your mouth. And it's like, we can't post once a day, really? Like, what?
Yeah.
So it kind of eliminates everyone's excuses. I think that's a huge part of what makes you different,
Well, that's exactly what you said. It makes me different. I kind of like that, too, that people look at me and you see me as that example. Look how he's living his life, not, having excuses. What's the excuse for myself? And that's a big thing.
Yeah, no
When I
excuses.
speak to her, like, look, I know this is the card I was dealt, but it's not going to hold me back from doing what I want to do. And it's kind of...
That's empowering.
Yeah, it's just... And that's why I want people to look at it like that. And to me, it's just me being me. Like I said, I don't got to put on a front for this. This is who I am. I want to live my best life that I can. I got hurt when I was 20 years old. And hopefully, God willing, I have a long life, to live. And I'm just not going to live it upset and unhappy. No, I'm going to try to do things I want to do and change this world and leave a great legacy in this world. And, that's what I pray for every night.
Amen.
I firmly believe that, like, it's all in your head. Like, that's where happiness starts, in your head.
Oh, yeah.
Your attitude, what you appreciate, what you're grateful for. Like, I hear you talking about gratitude all the time.
All the time, yeah, constantly.
And it's like,
yeah.
a lot of people have what everybody thinks they want, but they're not happy. It's because they don't appreciate it. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like, I appreciate the fact that I'm able to sit down and talk with you, and I'm able to drive down here. Like, some people are like, you're going to drive 3 hours for like a podcast? Like, that's
of
nothing.
course I am. If
Of
you
course
knew
I
Eric,
am.
you'd drive
yeah,
too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't even know, of course.
We're so lucky to have this interview.
Yeah, and it's like
yeah.
you are so appreciative of what you have that's one of the biggest reasons you're going to get more.
Yeah.
Like, I firmly believe that.
I do too, yeah.
And that's why it's too with the mindset thing. I try to think of different examples on how I can help people change their mindset into thinking the way you guys just said, driving down here, no big deal at all. I would love to be able to help change this world's mindset because we're humans, but it's no excuse. Everyone loves to complain.
Yeah.
Complain about we got to do this or we got to do that, and I love people when people don't. It may sound cliche, but that one term is you try to say instead of saying that, I got to do this, you say I get to do that.
I get to do this, yeah.
Stuff like that. And I haven't fully adapted to the I get to do this, but I have tried it before, and it's just like, oh, not so bad actually. Doing stuff that you don't want to do, but hey, sometimes you got to do that in life, and then you look at it and say, hey, I get to do this. Someone would love to be where I'm sitting at doing it. And like you said, it all starts with the mindset.
All of it.
And my mindset is the way it is because of the game of football. But that's not for everybody. Not everyone has that for the game of football. So I'm always trying to think of ideas on how I can help people explain or relate to people that may never played football and don't have that same, like I said, the beast mode mindset or outworking somebody, and try to help that and incorporate that into their life. What can I do to help them in their life to try to, get them to have that same mindset that I have and be appreciative for what they do have. And I think that's what's going to help me out, helping train the mindset to do so, or to be more appreciative or do things or reach your full potential. That's what I'm hoping I can get to.
So it's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have.
Exactly.
And you said this recently, I think it was an Instagram post. First and foremost, one of your posts when you were doing therapy, someone commented on it and said, I'm going to the gym today because I know how bad you would want to go to the gym if you could. I get to go to the gym. That's everything, because that one gym session could turn into a full year of healthy habits and maybe even, inspiring tons of other people, right? So that vortex of influence grows through you being at therapy. And it's like, you said a definition of success, the peace of mind that comes from knowing I'm doing everything I can to maximize my potential.
Exactly so. I remember the post. It was just the other day. That person was talking about they were in chronic pain and they got up and they went to the gym because they saw my
because of you.
Post. And that was pretty cool to see, especially knowing that they were in chronic pain or whatever the situation they may be dealing with. And they got up and went to the gym anyway, which was cool to see. And yes, and I say that all the time, and it was embedded in our head at Rutgers, and I live by it. It's the peace of mind you get knowing you did everything you could to be the best you could be. Like you said, you maximize your full potential to be the best you could be. And if you do that every day, you do lay down at night and you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
I did.
Best feeling ever.
Best feeling. Then there have been nights where I've laid down and I said, I didn't do my best today.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Those
you know what
nights
I mean?
suck. Yeah,
Well, let's be real now. We are here. You lay down.
Sure. Yeah.
And you're just like,
and
I didn't do my best today. I could have did a lot more. I should have took that nap in the middle of the day, or I shouldn't have went here when I could have been working on something else. So
right.
We're human, but it's all about the process. We learn from things like that, and you gotta. I put it up yesterday. Gotta embrace the process. Embrace the process getting there, because the process along the journey, once you get to that destination, everything that made you worth that destination is what you learn from the process of getting there, that journey to get to that destination. That's what it's all for, what it's all worth.
And you got to think, we were talking about this the other day, like, you have been through a lot. You've been through so much that has built the emotional muscle for you to now be on the journey you're on. If 20-year-old you was trying to do what you're doing now, trying to be a motivational speaker, upping your workload, working with Eric Thomas, you know what I mean? It would crush you probably. But the fact that you have worked so hard on up here, like focusing on your mind and your will and your emotional strength, like Alan and I had interesting childhoods, rough childhoods, but because of them, that's why we're who we are today. And I firmly believe that, like, more than ever, that your adversity really is your advantage. I firmly believe that.
If you have the courage to turn it into something greater by, like, yeah, it's like the emotional training ground that you need to grow.
Yeah.
You know? Evan Carmichael said that, too. He said your pain becomes your power. Your ultimate pain becomes your power.
Yeah.
And that you'll never be all in on anything until you go all the way up that pain pendulum to where it's like, well, I can't live like this, so I have to go the other way with it. So you have a coach or a couple coaches that changed you forever. You mentioned that in the last episode. And it's almost like you can kind of be that for kids now who don't maybe have the opportunity to be around coaches like that.
Yeah. I could start with my Pop Warner coach, Coach Jack. You know, he would always be honest. And there was these two coaches that were the high school coaches that would come back, and their biggest thing was push these kids to where they're about to pass out because they're not going to make it at the high school level unless that was their biggest thing. And I remember Coach Jack used to be like, why are you doing that to them? Like, to try to make an example? No, try to, like, you know that they're going to come to play on Saturday. We need to get them trained for what they actually need to do on the football field instead of trying to kill them because of some pride that you have built up. And I remember one time I didn't want to block. Like, I just want the ball. And I remember Coach Jack said, "Oh, you just want the ball." He didn't give me the ball the entire game until I blocked. And then he said, "Now you can touch the ball." And things of that stuff resonate with me because I'm like, wow, this guy, he has our back, you know, with these guys that are just trying to run us to the ground and not actually put us to work. But then I told him, I'm some prima donna. I just want the ball. He's like, nah. Like, he's like, and then he's at the same time he had our back, but at the same time he's disciplining us at the same time. And I'll always thank him for that because I learned that, you know, I can't just do this. I gotta be all in for the team. And then when I got to high school, I get offered as a freshman into high school, but I was never treated as a star player. I give Coach Isabella full credit for that. He never let anybody on the staff treat me different, and any of the players. I was the one crawling into this nasty sewage system to turn on the water for everybody before practice, and I had to wait till everybody was done and after practice my sophomore year to then turn it off. And that junk was miserable. Sitting there waiting for everybody to finish their drink, and I gotta sit in this little nasty sewer hole so I could turn off the water. Like humble stuff like that. And then once you get to college, forget it. You know, everyone's on the same level as you, but the training that Coach Shiano put us through mentally set me up for life, man. There's so many days just because to talk about grinding day after day after day after day after day. That's what college football was like, and being on that same schedule, and it's like, am I ever going to see the light at the end of the tunnel? That's what college football was like, but you do get there. You do eventually get there. You go through that grind, but you learn. You learn how to deal with stuff. You go through the pain and the suffering of in the weight room, working hard out on a football field when it's 120 degrees, and you're saying, I'd rather be at the beach right now. What am I doing to myself?
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. It trains you for life and it sets you up because now you got through that. Once you get through it, you're like, wow, if I can get through this, that's easy. I can get through that. No, I can. That doesn't bother me. And that's what Coach Giano used to do with us. He used to try to find methods on how he could train our brain to focus on being in the moment at that moment and doing what we needed to do in that moment, no matter what the surroundings were around us. If it's hot, if it's snowstorming, if it's pouring down rain, cold out. But don't let everything around you mess your focus up on what needs to get done. And that's what trained me for life with that. He used to put us in all crazy situations with that. After I remember he made us run after a 2.5 hour practice of dying. We had to run 20-something sprints afterwards, and then he made us put our face down in the turf, burning off the heat, just like barely could breathe, and he just made us all get close as we could together and sit there and see how long we can hold it before we like someone would, you know, mentally just give out. And it was crazy. I'm sitting in my head while I'm doing it. I'm like, this man is out of his damn mind. What the hell am I doing? Got my face down in the turf, can't breathe, dying.
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing? But as you know, as you get through it, he was challenging us to see how much we could take.
Yeah.
How much pain can we embrace? And that's when you're in the fourth quarter of a football game, when your opponent's over there sucking wind, and you're looking at him in the eye like, I'm ready to go. I've all this hard work in the summertime put in.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. And then if you could transfer that into your everyday life now, outside of sports, then you'll never be beat. You know, if you can transfer that mindset into what you do in life, whether if it's coming up with a business proposal or a big project for your job, you transfer that mindset of having to get through this. So I need to do. You watch, you won't be beat.
We were talking about wrestling. I think you were in the bathroom.
Okay.
We were talking about
Different breeds. Those are different breeds.
So
of
if you
people.
imagine this, like for those who don't watch any combat sports, wrestlers are the dudes who they will just outwork you. They just are capable of working because they have been in the wrestling room for hours and hours and hours. So if you imagine training for a fight, right? You're in the 5th round and you're still fresh. You still feel fine, but your opponent is tired as hell. They're sucking wind because they didn't train like you did.
Yeah.
They didn't put in the sprints. They didn't put in the mindset work. They didn't do the extra 2 hours of cardio. They quit when it was easy. That is what you're going against for life.
Yeah.
Like the emotional training ground that we have all been through allows us to overcome, oh, my bills are coming in and I'm not going to be able to make them. Like, oh, we just became a company. We just became an LLC. So the Hyperconscious podcast is now a company.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
Thank
whole.
you.
Thank you.
you.
But that's a whole
time.
thing. That's a whole new can of worms that a year ago I wouldn't be able to handle that, man. I wouldn't be able to handle that. So it really is what you do behind the curtain.
Oh, yeah.
It's really what you do in the dark when nobody's watching that matters when everybody is watching. Like that, I firmly believe that more than ever.
So true.
I'm going off.
Yeah, that's very true. But you're training yourself for those moments when you need to execute and you need to perform in those moments. And we relate back to sports because that's what I'm a former football player, but still. And when you transfer that into life, and Coach Shannon used to always tell us in our room and in the meeting rooms, he goes, "What are you going to do when you lose your job and you got your wife and 3 kids looking at you saying, what are we going to do to pay these bills? What are we going to do to eat?" Do you sit there and fold and cry in the corner, or no, you find a way to go out there and you support your family. You make it happen. You mentally say, I got to get this done. This is what I need to do. When if you're mentally weak, then you sit there and you soak in the corner and then your family goes hungry. Or you get a divorce and things of that nature. What are you going to do to make it work? Because people are relying on you.
Yeah.
And when people are relying on you, that's pretty much the biggest. That's the. I think I'm trying to think of the perfect word for like the biggest. What would you say?
Motivation?
Motivation, but maybe responsibility.
Yeah.
Let's say responsibility. The biggest responsibility. You got people relying on you in order to live and function each and every day. That's a huge responsibility. Yeah. And when things don't go the right way, what are you going to do in order to keep up to that responsibility?
How do we get people to realize that it's the hour-long reading session or gym session? Like, how do I go 5 minutes more? How do we get people to connect that it's every little thing you're doing? I always say it's the silence between the notes that makes the music. What are you doing when no one's watching? Because that's going to prepare you for when everyone's watching. And it's like, how do we get people to link up that every single second of every single day, you're either challenging yourself or you're not? Now, I don't think that every second should be a challenge. I think we need some R&R, some rest and relaxation.
Absolutely.
But I think 20% of your day should be R&R and 80% should be productivity and challenge and growth. Most people, I think, are living 80% of their day resting and relaxing and only 20% challenge. I think that we need to reverse that. So you're about to potentially teach, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this necessarily, but you were offered to teach a course on resilience.
Well, that's a plan. That wasn't offered yet.
Okay.
We're hoping that
Okay.
teach a course on resilience, and that's definitely something I want to talk about. Is training, like you said, training the mind to think. Okay, I can't relax for 80% of the day. And
Exactly.
And that's the thing. People need to learn to feel comfortable being uncomfortable. People that don't feel when they're uncomfortable in those positions, that they get challenged in those positions, they get scared and they run away from it. They don't want to be in those positions. But when you learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable, those challenges become a lot easier, and it makes you be able to go out there and perform it the right way. You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
When you were playing football, I'm sure you had moments before game day where you had butterflies, right? Where you were scared every time. But each time you were building that emotional muscle. So today, or like nowadays, right, you go in to meet Gary Vee, you're sitting across the table from Matthew McConaughey, whatever it is, like you must be nervous and uncomfortable, at least a little, right? It scares you?
Yeah, I won't forget it when I was Gary Vee. First off, I remember I was sick that day. I'm like, you got the opportunity to meet Gary Vee. Forget this sickness. Like you got to get there because who knows when this is already gonna come up again. And we had to already reschedule one time again. So whatever, flu, whatever, I'm there.
Yeah.
But we get there, And I see him. He's in the other room talking, blah blah blah. So I'm just playing it cool. But then he comes out the room, and oh, it's about time. He stops. He starts talking to somebody. So just playing it cool, just talking to the people I'm with. Then as soon as you see him make that turn to come in, you're like,
Yeah.
it's happening. Something's happening. You still get those butterflies.
Dude, I saw the video. You handled it. You played your cool, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, he came right up to you. He said, "Hey,
cool,
I've been
but
really looking forward to this." Yeah,
but in
man.
your mind,
I was
you're
like, Eric, cool as a cucumber, man.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is happening. Like, that's it. But like you said, you're trying to play it cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
those moments happening too. Those butterflies settle down. They do go away, and it's just getting over that fact of being able to, perform while you have those butterflies for that minute or so that you get on.
You could have avoided that. You could have not gone. You could have said, "I'm too sick." You could have made an excuse, and you didn't. You have every excuse not to do, and you don't take excuses. That's the one common denominator that I see of all people that are chasing their dreams and like really executing at this level. It's like there's no excuses. You just don't excuse away like, I don't feel like it. I'm sick. I'm not. Like you're traveling. We talk about travel. It's really hard, and you're traveling a ton, and it's like. Just kudos to you, man. That's just awesome.
It's very hard, and I remember that trip to London. I just had to go on. I'm not gonna lie to you. In the beginning, I did not want to do it. Like it's a few days. I had to leave on Sunday. Thanksgiving was just on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm going to somewhere where I'm cold. Why? If you know who I am with my injury, I don't do well with the cold. I just my body, my central nervous system is all jacked up from the injury, so I can't regulate my temperature, and I'm always cold. So now I'm like, I got to do this trip. I got to fly 6 hours over here to do this. I'm not good. Sleeping in hotel beds are not fun for me compared to my regular air mattress that rotates. Like all these different things that I never tell people about. I'm glad, but I'm able to air it out here.
Yeah, please do, man, because this is the stuff that like
that
I didn't think of any of that.
right.
Is that I'm sleeping on an air mattress because I can't get pressure sores on my body. I have to go through a process of getting a bed shower instead of going into my regular shower. Making sure thank God I got great nurses. Because I need to be clean. Like that's just who I've always been. Like I got to be clean. So making sure that they're putting enough soap or like things of that nature. And then going to the bathroom and on a trip. It's just a whole process that I never talk about to people because it's just something that it's my life and this is what I need to deal with. It doesn't, this is not your life. But this is something that I feel like this is the perfect time to air out because it's something that I'm overcoming. Because I could easily just say, no, I'm staying home and going through my regular routine where I'm comfortable at. But no, it's put myself in those uncomfortable situations for a bigger outcome. A bigger goal. I was part of that judging panels I was telling you with Toyota Mobility and becoming part of a judge. So I put myself through that process of flying, being in the cold, getting ready in a hotel, whatever, to go be able to be a judge and, hopefully help other people out. So it's,
Unbelievable.
Sacrificing, some things that you may not want to do or comfortable doing for a bigger cause.
Taking away your own comfort in the moment for something greater.
Exactly.
And like we would never have been able to understand how hard that all we see, we see the video, but like we have no clue what that took, what that really took.
No.
And no one ever kind of will. And we live in a world where all we're seeing is that video or that polished product. Like for all the listeners out there, like it's always more than it seems. It's way harder than it seems. And it's like you have to be willing to be consistently uncomfortable if you ever want to chase your dreams. There's no way around it. Like I think that's the most important thing.
Even last night, we
Yeah.
were talking to Evan, and Evan said, like, you guys were nervous before I called, right?
Oh yeah.
And one of our lights blew out. Actually, the whole room blew out. The fuse to the room blew out.
Yeah, right.
We had to restart all of our equipment.
Yeah, go down the basement, redo the fuse.
First world problems. He called us a couple minutes early.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want the listeners to know I'm always scared before the interviews. I almost always am. I don't want to drop the ball and let you guys down. I'm always afraid.
Yep.
I'm afraid to fly. I just do it. I'm afraid to have hard conversations. I just do it because I know it'll pay off. And there's been times where I know I should have done this and I didn't, and I regret that. And we were talking about regret last night with Evan.
Yeah, we were.
It's like I am more afraid at this point in my life of regret than I am of rejection, than I am of almost anything else. Because I don't want to look back when I'm 90 and say, oh, yeah, I could have done that. Yeah, I should have done that, It's like that motivates me just as much as anything else.
And it's that overcoming that fear. And that also goes, before I speak, every single time I got those butterflies and I'm like, I want to go out there and I want to perform well. I want to be able to leave the message that I want to leave. And like you said, it scares you. It scares the mess out of me every time before I go to speak. Like, I want to make sure I leave a good message on these people. I want to, make sure that they remember this, and it's to build yourself up to get to that level. Sometimes it's just like, wow, I'm scared. I am scared. But being able to admit that and then go be able to do what you do, what you love, it's the best part, because once you're done, it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I just killed them with that one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That was great. You know what I mean? I was like, I hit home on that speech, and then you
Best
feel
feeling
great, and that's what we need in life, the rewarding feeling. Because if we don't have that rewarding feeling, if we don't look at that rewarding feeling, then what are we really doing this for? You know?
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like you're doing this, you're overcoming, you're fighting. Yes, I understand the grind. Like you said, the beast mode, but you must allow yourself a rewarding feeling, because if you don't, then there ain't no point of going through all that suffering if you're not gonna be able to sit back and be like, yeah. And that's why I told my mom the other day, my goal in life is to be able to retire my family, not just Mama Dukes. I want the family.
Mama Dukes.
I want to
Dukes.
retire my mom, my sister, brother-in-law, aunt, uncle,
And Diesel.
and let them live the life that they want to live, and let them live a lavish life, being able to experience cool things in this world, and I pray for that, like I said all the time, because money isn't everything. I'm not like one of those guys like, I need money. No, like of course money does help you do things, but money helps you also, like I said, get these experiences in life where you can go here at the drop of a dime. And if you know who I'm always down for something. Like, you can tell me, hey, E, let's go to Turks and Caicos tomorrow, and if I got the means to go, we out. Like, I'm out.
We out.
And that's what I hope I can get to my point in life where I can call my friends and be like, hey, what you doing this weekend? Nothing on the schedule. All right, we're going here. Like, we're going to Barbados. Like,
Yeah, man.
like something like that's where I want to be able to get to my point in
Hell yeah.
life with my family. And that's the rewarding feeling for all the hard work that you put in, to be able to have that phone call and say, we're going here. We're going to have this experience. We're going to meet this person. We're going to do that. That's the motivation. That's the drive. That's what I do, why I do it.
I love it.
So good. I heard a quote one time by Mariana Costa. We had her on the podcast. She's a dear friend. And she said this. You'll resonate with this, Eric. So she said that having a convertible Mercedes is awesome, but earning one is amazing. And I think that's I think that makes a big difference. That one shift in mindset. I don't want to be given a Mercedes. You could literally give me a Mercedes. I swear to God. And I'd be like, okay, that's cool. But I genuinely wouldn't care that much. I'm weird. I genuinely, that would be nice, to have a reliable car, but I don't care that much. If I were able to have the means to earn it, though, I feel like that would be rewarding for me. I think you have to wire yourself in a way that's successful. I said this to one of my clients recently. I said, imagine you're a computer and you have faulty software that will never get you to your dream. It never really works. That's what these podcasts are. That's what coaching is. That's what mentors will do. They're shifting your software so that you can actually get closer to the reward and the happiness. I feel like that's what your coaches used to do for you. So my next question for you is who, that was kind of your guiding beam of light before. You had a bunch of coaches that helped you be better. Who now in your life is that for you? Or is it these amazing people you're meeting? Do you have a specific coach or mentor?
No, I think, well, like I told you, the motivation to do it is my family and my friends, and be able to, have that rewarding feeling. But these coaches are, the people I listen to, because when you get advice from them, they never just give you, what you want to hear. They talk to you real. And I feel like when they talk to you real, you feel challenged. You feel like, wow, I'm not doing enough. I should be doing more. Or that they look you deep in the eye and sit there like, are you doing this? Are you being the best you can be? Are you, maxing all, potential that you can? And you sit there and you think about it and you're like, no, I'm not. You kind of feel like, dang, I'm looking at a person who is doing that, and look where he's at. And that's that coaching, like, wow, he's asking me if I'm doing this, and no, I'm not doing it. So now I got to get there if I want to be just, and that just like that person. And, I want to go back to what you were saying about earning. Inky Johnson, when I heard him talk about this, he said, "You ever see something? You ever try to take something away from someone that worked for hard for something?" He said somebody that, like you said, just give them this or you gave them that. They're more, well, oh yeah, whatever. I got this and this and that. But if you worked hard and you had to put your blood, sweat, and tears in something, you earned something, and then somebody tries to take that away from you, he said it'll be a cold day in hell before somebody can take something away that you earned. That you worked your butt off for, like I said, blood, sweat, and tears into something to earn. It'll be a cold day in hell before they take that away, compared to something that, like you said, well, hey, it was just given to you like that, or you didn't really go out there and earn it. And that stuck to me too, because if you earn something, you, like I said, put in that work for something, and then you finally get to reap the award, reap the benefit of that.
It's that much
award,
sweeter.
It's that much sweeter.
Yeah.
It feels that much better.
And it lasts longer.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure.
You value it just that much more because of what you put in to get it, compared to, like you said, if somebody gives it to you, hey, am I gonna lie? Hey, nice, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. It would be nice, but it's not the same.
But if I make that money and I found a way to become a millionaire and do this, whatever, and now I can go out there and I buy that myself, it's like, yeah, that's my,
Damn right.
I did that.
Yeah.
That's my money I earned that. I could go out there and I could buy my Bentley now.
Yeah.
I wasn't just handed it. I bought that myself because of what I really do. And I'm going to buy another one.
Yeah, no, I love it, dude. Eric's such a gangster, man. This is awesome.
So we've been jumping around on time. We went 7 months ago when we first connected. We jumped through a little bit of your travels, right? Take us through since we saw you last. Like, what has your life been like? You've been traveling, you've been meeting people.
Yeah.
Take us through the highlight reel of that.
Yeah, it's been very nice. I've been, like I said, started the YouTube channel. Got to be able to show some cool episodes with that, going to boxing fights, or, like I said, just started. I'm going to do a docuseries for my therapy sessions and behind the scenes, because I got to always show people, well, like how they see me there or with this person, but they don't see what it takes to get there. So I'm hoping to do that with the YouTube series. I've been started doing the classes with Eric Thomas, and expanded that brand to where I become friends with him, and now able to talk to him one-on-one as a coach, which has been amazing. My foundation has really blown up. We killed it last year with the events that we were able to come up with, and now we're going on those year two, like now making them part of year two, and we're still adding 2 more events. So I'm thinking we usually had, for Team Legrand, we had my walk, we had a gala, and there was maybe one more event, 2 or 3 events. Last year we had 5 events, and this year we're talking about having 7.
Hell yeah.
For Team Legrand. So things are going well, and especially in that area when it comes to it's for to raising money for spinal cord injury research and stuff like that, which is awesome. And something I've been thinking about recently, I haven't put out there, but I'm gonna put it out here now, is maybe coming out with a second book. I'm thinking about it because the first book was my life before my injury and things that my life getting changed upside down, and what just the accomplishments I had in the first 2 years. I feel like now my book from 2012 to 2019 will be a lot deeper, and be a lot more examples of just how to deal with adversity and fighting through adversity, and just the mindset, all the stuff that we've been talking about today. I think I could pour into a book now and really help other people. So we'll see. I gotta get with some people, say maybe, hey, can we do part 2 of my book and see where it goes?
It's amazing, man. It's amazing. 7 months, right?
Yeah. To think about it, not even a full year.
Yeah.
Full year.
And that's what that is one of the intentions, that it's always been, if we have somebody that blows our mind. Like when we came down here, you blew our mind. It was my goodness.
Yeah, we still
my
talk
goodness.
about it.
All the time.
Now we'll talk about this. But.
Yeah. But then it's like, let's watch what happens. Like, because we have a close eye on everybody that we care about, our allies, and it's just crazy to see where you guys go.
Yeah, it really is awesome.
And now we get to sit down, and you're like, oh, by the way, I haven't said this, but I'm thinking about having a second book. It's like, you just don't stop, man.
Yeah, right.
You just don't stop. You don't stop.
I've really been thinking about that, because I want to see like what I could put in it, but I would like to come up with a second book.
Hell yeah.
And I just, like I said, need to come up with a plan and execute.
Yeah.
But I think that it'll be good to come up with a second book, and it could help a lot of people as well. like Eric Legrand's plan to have a successful life or something, or a prosperous life or something. Eric Legrand, resilience, steps, a journey through life, or just something cool like that. Just really just try to lay out a foundation for somebody the way that I do, because people are going to have their own ways and their own pathways. But if they can take bits and pieces of your pathway and help them in their life, that's what it's about. Like I said, that's what I'm trying to do with everyone. Take bits and pieces from Tony Robbins, bits and pieces from Eric Thomas, bits and pieces from Enki, bits and pieces from Lewis, and plan out the Eric Legrand pathway. And I think when people realize that they're going to have their own pathway, that's not going to be the exact same as somebody else. Could relate to somebody else, but not be the exact same. I think that's what it's about, and being able to incorporate other people's pathways and helping you get through your journey.
Well, I'm sure people hearing this are going to take a lot from what you're saying, and they're going to use it in their life, and I think that's the ultimate goal. So I think you're killing it.
They definitely are.
We're coming up on an hour, so just FYI.
Okay. So one of the things that I wanted to bring to the listeners right now, and this is sort of an unapologetic plug, but go back and listen to episode 41 and see what 7 months can do. It's interesting to me. So we have 43 podcast allies that we've created, guests on the show. I keep track of that number because I think that having allies, if you want to go quick, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And people that resonate very strongly with what we're trying to do, inspire people, motivate people, educate people, we consider them allies. Like, you're an ally in the mission. We say that, right? So it's interesting for us to see conversations that we had with guests and then to look at where they are now and go, we talked about that.
Right.
When it was just a thought.
Right.
When it was just a thing. Like, please go back, listen to episode 41, see how much can change in 7 months, and see what we talked about then, what is now a reality, and what we're talking about now, and what's going to become a reality because of this. Like, if you guys are sitting around with the people around you and you're only talking about how nice the weather is, like, conversations do change lives. And it's just huge. So I felt compelled to say that. And I'm so proud of how far you've come in such a short time, man, honestly.
Thank you. I'm glad you actually said that about conversations change life, because that's what I talk about that all the time, especially with someone in the disability world, because a lot of time people, they don't know how, they're uncomfortable when they see somebody in a wheelchair and they don't know how to approach them or something like that nature. And I always try to tell people, just have a conversation with somebody. It can change your life. Those 5 minutes of just taking the time of going to say, hi, how you doing? And you never know where that conversation may lead, who you guys may know, or what that person may be able to do for you. You never know.
Yeah.
If you shy away from conversations and people, you never know what just the potential that conversation could have had. Like, I could be sitting here right now, and somebody let me say, I could be sitting at lunch somewhere at a restaurant, and someone's just sitting there staring at me in a wheelchair. Maybe what if I own my own company, it's a $1 billion company, and this person is just sitting there staring at me. They come over to me and they be like, oh, blah blah blah, this and that. Next thing you know, walking out, and I hire that person, just
I know,
from
you
a
never know.
conversation.
Yeah.
But you never know where, like I said, where a conversation it could take you, or you never know what that person may be going through, and they see you in your situation and how you're handling it, and they come over and they say, I've gotten this, which is nice. Like, thank you for what you do. I see everything that you're going through, and it inspires me. And then I'm like, thank you. And then I've had conversations where people call to me, and we just start talking. Next thing you know, I know this person. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, we don't know something. We're hitting it off, and next thing you know, I've been on vacation with people like that. Like, I've met people, and that we have the same circle and didn't even know. Next thing you know, we're on the trip together.
Yeah.
It's like you never know where a conversation could lead. It's crazy.
So, just to bring this full circle context, Alan and I started this journey after I was on his podcast that was called Conversations Change Lives. And after that is when I went full time into podcasting.
Yeah.
And
So
then
that-
it was like, conversations really do change your life. The fact that we have been able to sit down with you for a total of 2.5 hours, like, when I tell you that you changed my life, I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, for sure.
We always talk about you.
Yeah.
Like, when things get hard, we're always like, but Eric and Bella,
Yeah.
they are doing this. Like, they are hammering work. They're always, for those like who are listening to this now, before this in our preamble, we're laughing, we're giggling, we're talking crap to each other. Like, you're hearing the more serious side, but like you've genuinely changed my life. So I want you to know that.
I appreciate that, and you know we keep on bringing up Bella. You see what she's doing in her
Yeah.
life now. You know, coming up with different parts of her story and being able to put it on film. You know, for people to see. You know, with the person she got injured with.
Yeah.
You know, which is awesome. You know, chapter 1 we saw. Now she's trying to do chapter 2. So, you know, I think it's cool to see her executing her stuff to what she wants to do in her life as well.
Oh yeah.
It's cool. It's kind of like, so Bella always likes all your stuff. So she's your biggest fan. And I noticed that when I look at your Instagram and we were researching you and stuff, seeing what you've been up to. And it's like, okay, so you're a fan of her. She's a fan of you. The more she does, the more it inspires you to do. The more you do, the more it inspires her to do. It's like this giant ship. Ships in the same shit. This giant shit. Ships in the same harbor rise and fall together. Like, who has your attention? Like, for the listeners, like, who has your attention? Like, our attention is on Eric, Bella, like other people that are doing positive things in the world that makes us want to do better too. You know, so get real clear on who has your attention. That just came to me. And
Our
I
hearts
want to
are
bring
all
that to
connected.
us.
That's why.
Yeah.
Our hearts are all connected. We're all trying to do better. We're all trying to make the world a better place.
Yep.
Use our experiences, our lessons to help others so they don't, they might not have to go through it. Do you want to plug? I want you to plug what's going on, YouTube, everything, charities, everything.
Yes, so definitely start. My biggest thing now, I want to do more speaking engagements. I really do. So if anybody listening wants to come and have me speak to your school, business, whatever it is, just go to my website, which I didn't have last time I was with you guys, ericlegrand52.com, and you can book me there. But also follow me on my journey on YouTube, which is just Eric Legrand, youtube.com/Eric Legrand52. My Instagram, Twitter, at Eric Legrand52. My Facebook, just Eric Legrand. And I'm doing a lot of social media stuff, man, because that's the way I've been able to express myself and just put my life out there for people. And no, I'm not one of those people that try to put up fake stuff for you to see. No. What you see is what you get with me. I'm as real as they come. So,
Oh, yeah.
So just follow me on all those social media platforms and watch the journey, because I truly believe that God has a special plan for this, and I'll be in beast mode in 2019.
Amen
I love
to
it.
that.
I absolutely love it. I will link all that. If you're listening, I will link that below so you can find Eric, his website, all that stuff, his YouTube, and yeah. You got anything else?
Eric, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time. We know how busy you are, and I look forward to seeing all of these thoughts come into fruition. And hopefully we'll sit down again at some point.
Yeah, for the listeners, 7 months. That is how much has changed in 7 months. You could do the same in your life. 7 months, a year, 2 years. It all starts with one choice. It starts with one decision. Visualize where you want to be and start putting those small steps together, and you never know where you'll end up.
And I want to thank you guys for taking the trip 3.5 hours down here, waking up in 12-degree weather.
Oh, yeah.
Making it, hey, that ain't no joke. So people here, they're making it happen by sacrificing, getting up early on a Saturday, coming down here in 12-degree weather to make this podcast happen so you guys can hear it. So thank you guys.
I skipped my workout for you, Eric. I don't do that for almost anybody. Yeah. I'm going to work out later. It'll be good.
We appreciate you, man, and honestly, whatever it takes to spread the word, keep this going. And ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording, and we will talk to you on the next one.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for listening to another episode of the Hyper Conscious Podcast.
Going hyper-conscious will absolutely change your life, because if you understand why something is the way it is, now you have the power to change it. If you going hyper-conscious with us has changed your life in any way, please share this episode with one of your friends, because the more people that go hyper-conscious, the better this world's going to be for everybody.
And if you would kindly leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, that would help us make more people hyper-conscious, and we would be greatly appreciative.
Thank you.
Bye.